Good morning, Manitoba. I'm Larry McIntosh, and I'll be your host for the next hour and every Saturday morning from 8 to 9. Thanks for tuning in. There is only 1 month left for the Farm to School Manitoba fundraiser. This fundraiser is open to all Manitoba schools and licensed daycares anywhere in our province. Basically, the fundraiser works like this. The students sell bundles of Manitoba-grown vegetables to raise money for their school or daycare. Bundle A has carrots, cooking onions, and red potatoes and sells for $10. Bundle B has larger packs of carrots, red potatoes, and cooking onions, as well as green cabbage and parsnips, and it sells for $20. Each bundle comes with a reusable bag that is perfect for grocery shopping. The great thing about this fundraiser is that the school or daycare keeps half the selling price, a 50% profit. Last year, this fundraiser raised over $400,000 for Manitoba schools and daycares, and that's what they kept, $400,000 for their fundraiser. The fundraiser runs until December 12th, so less than a month, but it's open to any school or daycare anywhere in Manitoba. So if you're interested in getting more information on the Farm to School fundraiser, please visit their website at MyToba.ca, or we have a link at our website at peakmarket.com. My guest this morning is Garth Rogerson, CEO of Red River Exhibition Association. Good morning, Garth.
Well, thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. How are things?
Busy. Lots going on, but it's all fun.
Lots going on. See, now, I would think, as probably a lot of people do, the X is until, when is it, June?
June, yeah.
June. So what's going on?
Well, you know, people ask me if I have a full-time job, and I always laugh. I'm always very busy. We've got development going on, construction. Even moving into winter, we still have the trucks out there hauling gravel, and we're trying to push it as far as we can to get as much done as possible.
So let's take a step back. Red River Exhibition Association has been around forever, running
Sure.
the Red River X.
Yep.
Used to be in the Polo Park area,
Right.
as when I first moved here, and it's now moved out, obviously, outside the west end of the city for quite some time. How long has it been out there?
We moved there in 1997.
1997, so it's a long time.
Yep.
But more than just the X, there's lots of things happening. So the development is happening now. Maybe tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, you know, we've had a development that's been widely publicized, working on it for quite a long time, actually going through the planning process with the city and development of a precinct plan. And really the concept is to develop a multi-use facility. One of the things that I noticed traveling around North America was that Winnipeg didn't have an agricultural trade show facility or a facility to host, you know, large-scale, heavy equipment kind of shows. And we were really missing the boat on that. And, you know, and those shows are driving right past. And they're going to Saskatoon and Regina and Calgary and Edmonton. And we really were missing a chunk of business. So we set on the course to develop a concept plan that we could develop into a trade show, basically a trade show center that also could complement, you know, the kind of things we do already, the Winter Wonderland show and the Red River X and all the other kinds of stuffs. And we have our first building out there now, and it's doing very, very successfully. And we're actually turning away business now. So,
wow.
Yeah, we've done all kinds of studies, and we think we're ready to move to the next level, the much larger building. And so, but you have to get there, you know, and you have to build the roads. You got to put the water in, the sewer, all those kinds of things are in the ground that are very costly and very time-consuming to do. So we've been working this summer at getting some of that done.
So for someone like me who drives by there, because we go out and visit our growers in Portage, so I just kind of zip by there early in the morning. Obviously, I know where the X is, and
Sure.
the Downs are next door, but
Yep.
that's all happening towards the highway? Or?
Yeah, we own quite a bit of land out there. So normally people would come into the Red River X on Racetrack Road leading up to the Assiniboine Downs. But now we have a road a little farther down, a little farther west, Camp Manitou Road. And that's going to go directly north, and we're calling it Festival Drive. And that'll be a new 4-lane street going through there. And it's also going to service a retail development that we're working with Shindico on developing on the front there. So bringing a lot of services, a lot of new retail to Winnipeg, and a lot of things for West Winnipeg as well as everybody in Winnipeg. And I think it's very exciting. You know, when you go past there now, and I'll go past and stop on the highway and look down, you can start to see, you know, the road developing and how you could actually drive in there and go shopping or see a movie or, you know, or come to an event at our facility.
So will this complement when the X is on? Will it be facilities are used for that as well?
Absolutely.
Or will it? Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you know, we have if you live in West Winnipeg, and I'm sure you've grumbled about me a few times and the traffic problems out there. And, you know, we've caused a lot of traffic jams over the years. And we're really trying to solve that with better access. We put actually a third lane on Portage Avenue to allow easier entry into this new roadway and huge stacking capacity on the road. By the time we're done, we'll have double the number of parking stalls. So really make it very, very convenient for people to come in and to see not only Red River X, but any show that's on there.
Because it's a large investment to do all this stuff and just to have it there for
Absolutely.
the X only
Absolutely.
doesn't make a lot of feasible sense or economic sense.
No, you know what? We're 5.5 million. I have sleepless nights thinking about that. But just to put the road in the parking lot. So we still have water, and we're working on drainage. Yeah, it's extremely expensive. I think by the time we're done, we'll be about $20 million into the ground. It's the stuff that people don't see, but you can't build anything without it. And that's the challenge with building in a field. You've got to put all these things in, but it's an investment in the future. And we've spent a lot of years gearing up for it, and it's the right thing to do. We're a community organization, so we're owned by our members, and anybody can buy a membership for $10. So we have a responsibility to the community to develop facilities that are going to positively impact the community. This is good for business. It's good for the community. Many of these trade shows that we're bringing in, I know one I was talking to, they have 1,400 delegates. Those people come to Winnipeg. They're staying in hotels. They're eating in restaurants. It's
Absolutely.
huge economic benefit for the community. So this is a real good thing. And a lot of people say to me, oh, you're going to compete with the convention center. No, we're not doing that. We're a community organization, and we want to be partners within the community. So we want to work with local hotels, with the convention center, with any other facilities, and bring in complementary shows that support up that. I think there could be a great partnership between us and hotels, where we don't necessarily going to put in all of the banquet facilities, those kinds of things. That's a great opportunity for local business to get engaged. We're going to bring new business to Winnipeg and really help grow the economy instead of taking away.
We'll be right back with Garth Rogerson, for the CEO of the Red River Exhibition Association, after we take this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. Peak of the Market has a mobile recipe app that works on your smartphone, including the new iPhone 6, and on your iPad. It's available free through Apple, Android, or BlackBerry World app stores, or via peakmarket.com. All you have to do is go to any of these sites and search for Peak Recipes. Here's a few features of our new app. Over 4,000 recipes. No internet connection required. Once you download it, it's all on your phone. Doesn't take a lot of space, but you don't have to be on the internet to use it. You can do a recipe search using any combination of keywords like potatoes and chicken, or ingredients, or meal types. The measurements are both in metric and imperial. You can add recipes to a shopping list and check off the items when you shop. Add notes to the recipes, like add more vegetables next time. You can resize the font for the directions for easier reading. And one of the important things to me personally is there's no in-app advertising. So when you get the app, there's no ads, there's nothing that pops up, there's not trying to sell you anything. It's just strictly recipes. We're very excited with our new mobile app, and it's absolutely free. So please download it, give it a try. Let's be honest, if you don't like it, you can always delete it. We're back with Garth Rogerson, CEO, Red River Exhibition Association. So we're talking beforehand, construction. How many million did you say that was? 55 million?
No, I know.
9 million? 2 million?
5.5 million.
5.5 million.
Yeah.
Okay, $5.5 million. Now that's a large development, obviously.
Yeah, that's just the start. That's just scratching the surface. That's getting a turning lane on Portage Avenue, and the cost of construction is just crazy now. So really, it's a large. I'll give you, it's a large parking lot, but road and parking. To bring the water line in alone is $1 million. So the cost of these things is staggering. But there's things you have to do, and you have to invest. You have to think out 50 years, and you're putting in a water line not for today, but for the future as well. And I think that the water line that we're going to put in actually will provide security of service for Westwood as well in West Winnipeg, because they don't have the water loop there now. And so through this process, we're actually providing some security of service for West Winnipeg. So we're helping out everywhere we can, but it is very expensive.
So yeah, and I remember we paved the front parking lot at Peak of the Market, which is very small. Right. And I remember how much that costs. So I can imagine roads and parking lots, water and everything.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So the long-term vision, obviously putting the road in, you've got the turning lane in. What's the next step?
Yeah, well, we have about 40,000 square foot building there now that we use for, we just had the Scattered Seeds craft sale, and we have fall home show, all kinds of different things. A lot of industrial shows there as well. MacDon Industries has their product training in there. So we do industrial shows, agricultural shows, those kinds of things in that building. But really the next step is to expand that about another 150,000 square feet and really expand into heavy equipment. Put a door in there that you could drive a combine straight in the building. So those kinds of things don't exist in Winnipeg right now. And really you have to go to Saskatoon or Regina to, will be the closest next facility. But we want that business here, not in Saskatoon or Regina.
And you're right. When you say it, I hadn't really given it any thought, but all the big shows that I know of in our business, agriculture-wise, seem to be in Saskatoon, some in Calgary. I assume they do around the the arena there, whatever it may be. But we don't really have that kind of a facility here.
No, and that's something I really noticed when I went down through the United States and in Canada. Virtually every major city in North America has a facility like we're proposing. Why doesn't Winnipeg? I have no idea, but we're going to build it, and then we're going to go after all those national, international shows. And, I remember talking to one group about an agricultural show that when it comes to Canada, it's an international show. When it comes to Canada, it goes to Toronto. And I said, why can't it come to Winnipeg? You challenge people and say, think differently, think big. Why can't these shows come to Winnipeg? We have a beautiful airport. We have lots of amenities, lots of capacity in hotels. We build the facility, and absolutely, people can fly in from Germany and from Japan, and this is a very good location. When you think of even the east-west corridor or the north-south corridor going down to Texas even, and look all the way up. We have a lot of things in common with that, with all along, I-29 down through the States. So I think there's tremendous potential for Winnipeg to be a center of commerce in these kinds of things, and let's get the facility done and go after it.
This is a bit of a leap of faith, isn't it? Like you're going to build it and hope they come.
This is the scary part of it is we're a self-funded organization, so we have to pay the bills, and you really have to have a business to support that. And so we've done an enormous amount of studies. And we had a board meeting one day, and I brought out all the studies, and there's a big stack on the desk of all these studies we'd done. You kind of lean on the stack and say, when have we studied it enough to go forward? But the nice thing about a lot of these trade show type buildings is you can pre-sell the space. And I actually was dealing with a company out of New York City, a big major trade show provider in the U.S., and they offered to give me 5 years of deposits right up front. So I think there's a lot of confidence in coming to this market. There's a lot of interest, but you have to have the facility that can support it. And I think the advantage is we can get out there, we can pre-sell a lot of the space, and we can ensure that we're not going to be a burden on the community. We're actually going to have a facility that will support itself. And we're also building, the retail center is important because that drives revenue for us. We're building what we call a commodity campus, which is a bit of a business park focused to the agricultural community. And so that drives revenue for us as well. So it's really quite a complex plan on how all these things fit together in order to drive the necessary monies to support the capital costs. The big challenge with a lot of these facilities, often you can get the money to build it. What do you do 25 years from now when you've got to replace the roof?
Right.
That's what kills you, is having to, to repave the parking lot. You just don't have the money for that. So we have to look at developing a business that, even though we're nonprofit and we do a lot of charitable activities, we have to look at the business side of it and have to look at ways that we can drive money to support this thing so it doesn't become a burden.
And you mentioned the last segment, but the convention center, one might think you're competing with the convention center. It's expanding, and it's right downtown, obviously. I'm going to guess there's probably going to be an event somewhere along the line that you're going to compete, but you're saying overall, and I would agree with you, that it's going to attract a lot more to our province.
Absolutely. There's always going to be the chance of competition, but I say let's get together and let's work together. In Calgary, the convention center in Stampede Park, the Calgary Stampede, they work together and they go out and sell Calgary and get every show that's out there. I said, let's go sell Winnipeg. Let's get every show that we can, bring it in here, and then put it in the most appropriate spot.
Right.
I actually got a call from a major hotel and asked me if I could put a convention into our facility because the convention center was booked. And I said, well, no, that's not our business. We're in the trade show and industrial kind of business. That's something that the convention center really isn't into and really doesn't, because of the configuration of it. And the layout really you can't put a combine in there. You can't bring cows downtown. These guys, that's my argument all along. You can't put a cow in the convention center. So, but that business is huge.
We'll be right back after we take this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. It's time for a recipe segment called Now We're Cooking. You don't need to write this recipe down, as it's today's recipe of the day at peakmarket.com, and now it's in the Winnipeg Free Press. Today's recipe is Brussels sprouts with chestnuts. Here's what you need for the recipe. 1 pound of Brussels sprouts, half a cup of butter, 1/4 cup of brown sugar, half a cup of chestnuts that have been cooked and shelled, and trim the Brussels sprouts, removing the coarse stems and any outer leaves. Add them to a large pan of boiling water and boil for about 5 to 10 minutes until tender. Drain well, rinse in cold water, and drain again. Then set aside. In a heavy skillet, melt the butter, then add the sugar and stir over medium heat until dissolved. Then add the chestnuts to the skillet and cook, stirring occasionally until well coated and starting to brown. Add the sprouts to the skillet and mix well. Reduce the heat and cook gently to heat through, and this recipe serves 4. This is today's Recipe of the Day at peakmarket.com and now in the Winnipeg Free Press. And all the recipes on the website or in the Free Press have both metric and imperial measurements. We'll be right back with Garth Rogerson, CEO, Red River Exhibition, after we take this break for your 680 CJOB News, Sports and Weather. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Food and Friends. Food and Friends Radio is now on TV. Each radio show is filmed and will be posted on MyToba.ca tomorrow. So if you want to see the TV version of this or previous radio shows, please visit MyToba.ca. Thanks to 680 CJOB's Nicole, who produces our show, and Chad, who operates the camera, as well as the teachers of the Broadcasting and Media Arts program at Tech Voc High School for making this all possible. You can also listen to an audio podcast of Food and Friends at SoundCloud.com or at the iTunes Store. So please just do a search for Food and Friends with Larry at MyToba.ca or SoundCloud.com or iTunes, and all the shows will come up for your listening or viewing pleasure. It's very important for me to mention that Food and Friends is only available because of 680 CJOB and its advertisers, so please make sure you tune in to 680 CJOB or listen live at cjob.com. We're back with Garth Rogerson, CEO of Red River Exhibition Association. So we're talking off air that you got a big event coming up here soon, too.
Yeah, Canadians Winter Wonderland.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's we've been doing that for about 15 years now. It's really become a family event. It's essentially a drive-through light show. We have about 2.5 kilometer drive-through, and with the chilly weather in the winter, you can stay in your car, and although you can stop and get a hot chocolate and mini donuts if you want, but yeah, it's become a real family tradition, and we see a lot of people come out and enjoy that. And there's a sleigh ride on the weekends, and it has a little wood stove inside. It's very, very popular.
It has a wood stove in it. Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of an old school, almost like a wagon, but it's a sleigh, fully enclosed, so it's very cozy inside there, and people really enjoy it.
So when's that start?
December 5th and goes to January 3rd. We're just closed Christmas Day. Okay. But other than that, it's open every night at 6 p.m., 6 till 10.
And you said how many years it's been
15 years. This is 15th year.
Now, I've been here, 20-some years now, and I seem to recall that when they announced they were doing this, it wasn't intended to be a lot of years, was it? Wasn't it going to be like a shorter project?
Yeah, normally these kind of shows sort of peter out in about 10 years. But, last year we had one of our strongest years ever, and the year before was actually a record year. So, it just keeps chugging along, and people are enjoying it. And we're expanding and changing it and adding more light line and doing all those kinds of things. We've changed the route this year, and so I think it's still a family. You can go out and go Christmas shopping or go out and get a bite to eat and then just drive through the light show. It's just a nice family thing to do.
And where would they get tickets?
Well, you can get tickets, and we can get them at the gate, but I tell everybody, go in advance and get them at Red River Co-op or Canadians, and you save $5, and everybody wants to save money.
So I believe I read it was $10 if you buy it in advance, $15 at the gate, so to speak, and you can take a carload of people through.
It's pretty cheap. It's not per person; it's per carload. So fill it up, pack and stack in the car, and come out and enjoy the show.
So, what's your favorite part of that show? Is there a favorite display that you?
Really... I like Old Man Winter. I don't know why, blowing, and these are huge light fixtures, and Santa's workshop, and the reindeer school is pretty cool too. There's a lot of different, as you go through the different areas, there's 26 theme areas within the display. So everyone is kind of unique in its own way. And I actually drive through that show probably 20 times. And it's just like every night on my way home, I drive through because I like it so much. It's just really puts you in the spirit of the season.
And here's some trivia. You know how many light bulbs are?
We think there's close to 1 million.
So nobody's actually counted it then.
Well, no,
not up to 1 million.
There's about 30 miles of light line in there, on top of all the different fixtures and the different 26 different theme areas. And some of these fixtures are huge. So, 30 miles of light line, 6 inches. You could do the math on that.
Wow, that's a lot of lights.
Yeah.
So it's kind of. Is there any vegetable section? Do you have carrots or anything?
No, there? we have farm animals though. We should get a carrot. I'm not sure. I'll have to go back.
We'll have to talk about the carrot thing.
Yeah, let's get
a red potato would be nice.
We should
or
do that.
Some broccoli or
go along with that. We have I think we have a sheep and a goat and a cow and a horse and a. Well, let's get some vegetables in there.
Well, we've got to talk about that.
Good idea.
And some of the proceeds go to charity as well, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. We this year we're supporting Kids Sport and the Red River Exhibition Foundation as well, which is our foundation and gives away scholarships. So 100% of all the money that's donated goes to fund scholarships. We don't take any administration fee off that. So it's endowed into an investment fund, and then it kicks off interest, and that's what we use to fund the scholarship program.
So let's talk a little bit about the scholarship program.
Sure.
Has it been around for a while, or?
Yeah, we started that in the mid '90s to late '90s, and we're giving away 17 scholarships right now. So it might be 20, but we're every year adding new scholarships and growing the program. So we have a few fundraising activities that we do, as well as Winter Wonderland, and it's allowing us to give back to the community. So we're creating quite a substantial investment fund, and that's kicking off interest, of course, and that's what we use to fund the scholarships. So my goal is I'd like to get up to 100 scholarships, so we have a ways to go yet, but we're getting there.
I think it's kind of neat. You're a not-for-profit or non-profit
Right.
organization. You have memberships of $10, you were
Sure.
saying in the last half hour, which is pretty darn cheap.
Yeah.
But yet you're still giving back to the community.
Well, that's important, and we're a community organization. So not only are, and it's part of our mandate as well. We're mandated through the Red River Exhibition Act. It's an act of the Legislative Assembly. And so we're mandated to support agriculture and sport and recreation and tourism and all those other kinds of things. And we feel a responsibility to give back to the community. And we think it's important to engage young people in getting an education. And we want to encourage that as much as possible. And our scholarships are actually unique. Many of them are not necessarily based on academic achievement. It's your desire for success and your hard work. So, we look at a lot of attributes that people bring, not just marks, and we encourage people to, to work hard and to have that desire for success. And so we want to help them along that path. So if you're going, say, we have a scholarship in the aerospace industry, so you could use it to purchase tools. It's not necessarily for academic studies. We want to encourage everybody to have a chance at success.
So I'm sure if people are interested in that or anything else, you have a website? What would it
Absolutely.
be?
It's on our website, yeah. And we send all the information to every school in Manitoba as well, so they can seek information for their guidance counselor. And I really encourage people to take advantage of it.
So we're going to have to take a break shortly, but we're going to come back and talk about the X, because
Sure.
we can't have a show with you without talking about the X.
Absolutely.
And about mini donuts. I'm sure they have those at the X as well, right?
You betcha.
We'll be right back with Garth Rogerson, CEO of the Red River Exhibition Association. Happy to take this. Welcome back to Food and Friends. Did you know that Sesame Street first aired 45 years ago this week, November 10th, 1969? No matter what your age is, I think everyone has a favorite Sesame Street character. Peak of the Market has new Sesame Street potato and onion bags featuring Elmo, Big Bird, Grover, Oscar, Abby, Bert, and Ernie. I hope you've had an opportunity to see these bright and colorful potato and onion bags in your produce section of your favorite store. Along with the Sesame Street characters, you'll see the Peak of the Market logo, so that guarantees you the product is grown right here in Manitoba. We're very pleased to partner with Sesame Street on the Eat Brighter program, so I hope you see it in your store. We're back with Garth Rogerson, CEO, Red River Exhibition Association. What's your favorite Sesame Street character?
Maybe Big Bird.
I think that's our generation.
Yeah, I don't know. I like that guy.
He's fun.
Sometimes I feel like Oscar the Grouch, but
Oscar the Grouch. We all want to be Big Bird.
there we go.
So let's talk about you a little bit. Are you from Manitoba originally?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Born and raised.
How'd you get involved with the X?
I started a long time ago as a volunteer, and actually one of my first jobs as a young kid was working in the barns at the X, shoveling manure. So I got to start pushing a broom and pushing a shovel, and stayed around them. I finished university. I became a volunteer and started and worked my way up onto the board. And I guess if you shoot your mouth off enough, eventually they'll give you the job. But yeah, I ended up getting the CEO job, I guess about a little over 6 years ago now.
So you went to university in Manitoba?
Yep.
So between that and becoming the CEO, did you have other jobs, or?
Yeah. Actually, I've done a number of jobs. Worked for a national giftware distributor as a general manager there, and did a number of different jobs as general manager. Ran a national franchise system and did a number of jobs that prepared me into this. I worked for a museum and did a few other things like that really prepared me for the reality of the nonprofit sector and dealing with grants and government and all those other kinds of things that come along with the job. So and also being on the board and being a volunteer for years, I really had an understanding of what took place to put the show on, what took place to grow, and a lot of things that, personally, as I went through the years of volunteering, is, the things I wanted to do. And I said, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? And so when I was given the job, I really had the chance then to, all those things I had thought of doing, I could finally get to, and so I actually put a lot of pressure on myself, because there's so many things I want to do, so many things I want to do to enhance the Red River X event, and new events I'd like to try, and the buildings that we need. There's so many things and so little time and so little money, of course. Everything's so expensive.
Sure.
But you're going to see a lot of development over the next a few years as I push forward to get a lot of this done.
And I was curious about your background, because if you think about what you're doing today, obviously the X is a massive show,
right?
But you're doing conventions, you're doing construction, you're doing
Yeah.
planning for many years. There's lots of different skill sets.
Oh, for sure. Like when I ran the franchise system, I did a lot of leasing and those kinds of things. So I understand the leasing market and some property development and those kinds of things. So a lot of my background really led up to this kind of stuff. I never intended when I got this job to be in the development business, and it kind of took me by surprise. But it's really something that was needed. And as I started to develop the concept of the park, I really started to solidify it and really, started to take shape. And I can remember years ago standing on one of the big berms we have in the back of the property and looking, and I can visualize, what it will be. And, I've been very pleased that the dairy farmers of Manitoba, for instance, have relocated their office to our property as the first tenant within the larger business park that we're developing. And I give them a lot of credit for, standing up on that hill with me and visualizing because we built that building in the middle of a field. So it's very interesting. And, to be able to visualize something new and something exciting, and then being able to do it is a really, really exciting job.
So the Red River X is coming up in June 12th to 21st, right?
Yep.
And you start planning for that well in advance, or?
I'm planning 3 years out.
3 years?
Yeah. I've got this vision in my mind of how it's going to roll out, because it does take a long time to get there, because some of the things that we want to do require new facilities. We're very challenged with weather, with rain and heat and all those kinds of things. So we need more covered space. We really desperately need a grandstand facility. We need new tents, new buildings, all kinds of stuff. And we're working towards that. And also, the problems of access. We had huge problems with access and parking. And, so we're solving those issues, and we're working towards, because what we have today at the Red River X is not what it's going to be in 5 years from now. And we've seen tremendous change in the Red River X, even in the last 3 or 4 years, and how it's starting to engage community more and develop things that is of interest to a wide range of people, and really to become an exciting place to go to, and something that's relevant. It's always challenging when you've got an event like ours, is how do you remain relevant? We're old. We've been around since the 50s, 64, 65 years. And to remain relevant today, the world is changing so fast, and there's so many new things coming out. So you have to constantly be reinventing yourself. I can remember I was on a radio, can't remember what station, but we were talking about that, and they said, do you really think you need to reinvent yourself every year? Absolutely. As soon as you stop developing, stop coming up with new concepts, then you start to lose ground and people lose interest. So we're always trying to develop something different so that we can engage the public in different ways and engage the community. We're looking at all different groups, community groups, to come out and participate. Last year we had Taekwondo Club out, and we had doing demonstrations, and we had the button, an interesting, and different groups that want to come out. And one of them was a button club. And I go, a button club, because we want to engage different groups, hobby groups and so forth. And this button club wanted to come and set up an exhibit. And I was like, I'm not sure about that, but I said, okay, why don't we give it a try? So this button club came out, and they set up this exhibit, and it was incredible. And, every day I actually went and looked at it, because it was so well done, so professional, and people were stopping and looking at it. And I'm sure everybody who came to the X had a new appreciation for buttons. So I think that, that's the future is engaging different groups. Everybody has a passion. Everybody has something that they like. Well, why don't we get those clubs involved, and so they can come and showcase what they're doing? And whether it's a dance club or we had baton twirlers and, as I said, Taekwondo and different groups like that. So it really creates an opportunity for the community to become engaged and showcase themselves to the broader community.
We'll be right back with Garth Rogerson, the CEO of the Red River X, after they take this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. Please join me next Saturday, November 19th, when my guest will be Cheryl Mazer, General Manager, St. Vital Center. Cheryl will fill us in on what's new at St. Vital Center and how they're getting ready for the holiday season. I actually heard Santa arrived at St. Vital Center this week. I'll have to go check that out. My guest today has been Garth Rogerson, CEO, Red River Exhibition Association. Garth, it's been fun learning about all the things that are happening out at the X.
Oh, I'm excited to talk about them, and I get very excited about it. So sometimes I wonder if people are as excited as me, but I'm really looking forward to the development and seeing new things come into the park.
It's great for our city. It's great for our province,
Absolutely.
and certainly,
And it's a lot of fun. We're in the fun business, so come on out and have fun.
Well, thanks for being on Food and Friends.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks to Nicole Bonnikamp, our show's producer, and Chad, our camera guy. Take care, and please don't forget to eat your veggies.